Well, all right. Welcome back to the Survival and Basic Badass Podcast, Kevin and Chuck. Today, well, we're going to talk about Parasite Preppers. And what do we mean by Parasite Preppers? I've heard some people call them werewolf preppers. I've heard all kinds of crazy ideas. But basically, what I'm talking about is, a parasite is somebody that tries to live off the host, off the other people, other things, off, whatever. You think of ticks and all the gross things, tapeworms, because that's what they are, is gross things. It's people who are crap, and that's the bottom line. People who don't deserve to share this fine planet with us. And basically what they are is people who don't want to do the work. You know what? We'll call them socialists.
Well, that's the term for it.
People who want the benefit without doing the work. Mm-hmm. And you've probably seen these people. These are the people that say, "Oh, don't worry. I have a gun, so I'm just going to go take the supplies from the guy next door who I know is prepared." I see lots of other people in the neighborhood. They have lots of stuff. I'm going to go down into Walmart and I'm just going to take all the stuff.
Right.
Have you heard of people like this? Have you heard these comments, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty standard argument for somebody that doesn't prep. I mean, is basically, I own a gun. I can do what I want. Yeah. Can't wait for the end of the world. It's just gonna be running around shooting zombies.
Shooting zombies and taking their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's the thing is, all these analysis from the federal government are like, oh, if there was an EMP or a catastrophic event or a complete grid failure, that 90% of the population would die in the first year, and it's something like 50% in like the first 3 weeks or something. It's ridiculous. Right. We always talk about, we obviously medication goes away and things like that.
Right. There's certain people that are going to have a hard time after a week or two.
That's a given. But so there are people who have their plan is to just become a thieving bastard.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the play. So that's what I'm talking about with Parasite Preppers, right? Their preparation is, well, I'm just going to take and leech off other people. Kind of like a fair amount of society is just leeching off the rest of us right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a thing. I know we all try and pretend that's not true. And you're
not supposed to say it out loud anyway. But also, I mean, one of the things that I hear a lot of is stuff like, I know how to grow my own food. I know how to hunt. I don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Are you growing your own food though? Are you? And a lot of people think they know how to hunt, and they're all going to be out there shooting at stuff. So, I mean, I hear a lot of bad ideas for their, plans. The thing is, all these people are talking about like society collapsing. You know what I mean? Yes. Like complete lawlessness, complete anarchy. But really what you should be preparing for is a really bad blizzard, Right. Really what you should be preparing for is losing your job and a serious downturn in the economy. Really what you should be planning for is the things that are realistically gonna happen to you. I'm not saying things that might happen to you. There are things that are gonna happen, and that's what you need to be prepping for.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of it, like I think a more likely scenario is something like your depression, the Great Depression, and how that was, where money is really tough to come by. I mean, that seems like I wouldn't have said that probably 6 years ago, even 5 years ago. But now the way society is going and the way we're going with the dollar and stuff like that. Remember under Obama, we kept getting, well, this is the new normal. Just accept it. America's never going back to, what it was. I think there's a lot of new normal that seems to keep coming up and is going to kind of be a thing. And that's where you guys kind of need to be focused. I think, I mean, definitely there's a desperation and stuff, but I think we'll have this partial lawless society where, like we keep seeing, I know a lot of these videos seem to be rehashed or over exaggerated. They're 3 years old or whatever, but the videos of the looting the Walmart and the Target and the stuff like that, and they go through, and then the stores are just like, screw it. Well, I'm just going to shut down. Or you burn down the Walgreens on the corner, and the store's like, well, I'm not going to build another Walgreens because that would just be stupid. We lost a lot of money.
Right.
Our insurance companies like, hey, we're not going to go for that. But that's, I think, really the world that we can kind of expect, where cops are overwhelmed. They only kind of come out when, oh, you have a dead body in the front yard. All right, we'll come get that. That kind of thing. I think there's that sliding scale where that's where we end up first. I think we're going to have that kind of partial collapse of society where, it may be the norm in what is it Donald Trump says, in shithole countries. But it hasn't been the norm in America, and I think people aren't prepared for that.
Right.
I look at the ridiculousness they keep saying with the electric cars, and that's fine, if you want electric cars or whatever, but how our power grid can't support it. But nobody seems to look at logic and reason. It's funny. I work for a big corporation, and they seem to go the same way. Like, we make these decisions like, oh, this is a great idea. Let's do it. And then you have like the logical people who are like, wait, look, we can't just make that dramatic change. That's something you have to ease into. That's something we have to, and they're like, no, I want it. It's a good idea. And then we just do it. It's funny. I had a manager the other day, and we had this big discussion last night about it. When so I'm an electrician, and things break, and I go and fix the equipment. And basically I keep, in a big factory, I keep the machines running. And so stuff breaks down, and basically what had happened was somebody was like, hey, look, this oil's on discount. If we buy that instead of the oil that we normally use, then we'll save all this money and I'll be a hero. Well, not only was it crappy oil, but it didn't meet the specs of what was required. So now all the equipment is breaking left and right, and everybody's freaking out because, one, the oil is really thin, so it's just leaking out of every connection everywhere. And then two, and have the stuff in it for proper lubrication, and all the valves are seizing up and don't work, and we're running around, valving everything, making it, breaking things free, right?
Right.
So the point is, everything's a horrible nightmare because of a stupid decision. Now we go out and we repair it, and they're like, man, everything takes long, you guys must really suck, you're the problem as the repair guy. And what they do, though, is instead of coming over and saying, hey, what's going on? Is there anything I can do to help? Do you need anything? What would be the right thing? Or just mind your own business and go do your manager job. Instead, they stand like 6 feet behind me and are just like watching and watching. And then they just start making phone calls. Hey, could we get more people here? Could we do this? Could you know what? Go get another tool made up, because that would probably help the whole thing. But they don't come over and say, hey, what's going on?
Right.
Or anything like that. And then it's like, well, why is all this stuff in my way? And why are these people here? Can you make them leave so I can do my job? This is what's going on with our country right now. All right. Is they're like, oh, I have no idea about guns, but let's just make lots of laws because that would fix it. Or, hey, I have no idea what's going on over in Ukraine, but if we just gave a lot of money, it would be good. That seems to be the way we do things as a society anymore. And it is definitely, I guess it's kind of this fantasy that people are allowed to live in. I mean, you grow up as kids and they're in the schools, and they're just like, yeah, you're right. It's a good idea. Everything you do is special, and your opinions matter, and you have value. And guess what? They're not always good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that is really how our society collapses. Sorry, it's a little off point, but I think I'm right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think there is a lot of that that mentality. Especially, and I'm not just talking about people expecting the government to play mommy. I'm talking about just expecting things to keep going exactly the way they are forever, right? Just expecting that I'm never going to lose a job. Nobody's going to have a serious health crisis in my family. There's never going to be a serious power outage.
Right.
You know what I mean? Everything's just going to, and if the power goes out and it's out for 2 days, I'm going to be so angry. I am going to make phone calls when the power comes back on. I'm going to let people know how I feel about this. You know what I mean? It's not, it's like, it's like, nothing bad has ever happened to you.
Yes.
And sometimes nothing bad has ever happened to you.
Wait,
there are some people out there that haven't had bad things happen to them.
It's because mom and dad have been handling it and you just didn't know.
Yeah. 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 I mean, it's a serious issue, but I mean, I always hear people say things like that, joking around, like, I'll just come to your house. I don't know if you're going to be coming to my house. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know you that well.
Kevin's
you're not one of my
the
kids.
Door.
Yeah, you're not coming to my house.
I'm not sure the kids are allowed in the house.
I'll give you an extra, I'll give you, a couple of things. I'll give you an extra tube of toothpaste, Probably have plenty of that.
I'll leave a 6-pack of ramen on the front step.
Yep. We'll get you all set up.
And then you move along. I'll give you a secret map to where you need to go to get your share.
So let's talk about that though. When if that's your plan, I've got a gun. Right. I have been to the range once or twice with it. I have a box that I think is the right ammo for it. I'm going to go down and because that guy, he's got all that stuff. He's hoarding all that food in his house. He's got it all down there.
Right.
So I'm going to take this gun and I'm going to go down there and I'm going to make him give me my fair share. Do you think, how is that going to work out?
Or wait, even better. You know how we have that Karen that lives up the street?
Mm-hmm.
She likes to be in charge of everything. And I'm going to go talk to Karen and I'm going to talk to my other lazy neighbors in the other houses. And we're going to be like a little pitchfork mob. And we're going to all go down. I don't know if you ever saw like D. Snyder's Strangeland. They were all out to get Freddy Krueger there, Robert Englund.
Yeah.
And they were going to go get him because he was a pedophile. And they were like, and you get them all riled up and we'll just take it. Mm-hmm. But one, if that's your play, I mean, maybe there is some guy you can overrun with your angry mob if he's not willing to just shoot his neighbors right away. Because I got to say, I'm just shooting you. I'm just like, whatever. I don't like Karens anyway.
Yeah.
And
but I have to say, I was watching a couple of videos recently of people being reckless with firearms.
Okay.
And my opinion always has been and still is, if you're going to shoot a gun, if you intend to defend yourself and fire a firearm, you should shoot somebody. There's no warning shots. Don't shoot somebody in the leg. Don't shoot out somebody's tire. If you're going to fire a gun in self-defense.
I hate to say it. They usually say, don't even pull it out unless you're going to use it.
Right.
Right. You don't even, show your firearm. Now, I got to say, answering your door with an AR or a shotgun maybe is like the better answer because they're like, oh, he's got a shotgun.
Yeah, let me just back up and give you a little bit of space first.
I have my 38 revolver and he's got a shotgun. I feel like he has a better shot at taking me down.
Right.
I mean, depending on the guy, right? Who knows? But anyway, that's not my point. I'm not saying go shoot somebody. I'm just saying in a lot of states, it's legal to defend your home. I'm just saying that may be a thing. Mm-hmm. And, I think I'd mentioned this a couple weeks ago. the wife and I was like, yeah, if somebody's trying to break in the back door, I said, if it's you, you should just shoot him. But if it's me, I'm waiting until the guy comes inside and I'm going to shoot him in the house. And that way everything's clear cut and whatever. And she's like, but why wouldn't you just show him the gun and he'd leave? And I'm like, well, he's going to just go rob somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't even. But anyway, so bottom line, we have these angry mobs. They're going to come over. You may overrun, right? Say you get the guy who's, him and his wife have decided they're not really out to hurt people unless it's a desperate situation and it's just stuff, right? But the first thing you need to remember is just stuff is your family's life, right? Because when we're talking about food and supplies, I'm not talking about stealing your television. I'm talking about taking your food that your family needs to eat, food that you made a decision to not go out and party or not, go buy stupid stuff or have 20 channels of cable or whatever the heck it is. I don't know how many channels people have. There's probably more than 20 now, but
yeah, there's more.
There's more. Okay. So whatever it is, right? You do the fancy things and you choose not to prepare. So that's my problem, right?
Right.
Or wait, yeah, it was going the other way. You know what I mean? You make this decision to supply and get everything ready. Other people are not entitled to that. They're not entitled to come and take your stuff. And that's what a lot of people think. They're like, oh, I should be able to just come get it because it's only fair. I deserve it. Right?
You have plenty. You have plenty.
You have so much. Well, in a long-term scenario, the government isn't coming to help right away. If you need help, you should go to the FEMA camp. That's what I'd recommend. If you're not prepared, the FEMA camp is the place for you. And then people are like, oh, but that's filthy. And I don't want to leave my house. And I don't want to, I'm afraid. Well, okay. And they're saying that there's just raping and bad things happening at the FEMA camp. Well, right. That's why you prepare.
Right.
That's why you make a decision. Hey, my family comes first. I want to take care of them.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, my number one goal in my life is not
not what?
Not getting raped. Not into it.
Exactly.
Whatever's going on over there, I'm not into that.
It's a bad, bad world.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about operational security. What can you do to just keep everybody from showing up in the first place?
So maybe telling everybody that you're a prepper and having some kind of podcast where you just tell everybody, that'd probably be a bad idea.
Yeah, that'd be a dumb thing to do.
To be all over YouTube saying, hey, I'm the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That would be dumb. But go on.
All right. Well, I mean, the first thing is exactly what you said. Keep it to yourself. You don't have to tell every single person you know and meet that you have, all sorts of stuff stored up. Because one, they'll probably think you're crazy, which you are, but you don't necessarily want everyone to know that you're out of your mind, right? So, I mean, it's just one of those things, sometimes I'll feel people out and oh, you like guns? Oh, you keep a firearm next to your bed? That's probably smart, that sort of stuff. But, I try and let other people tell me about their stuff and keep my own stuff to myself.
Right. And that's a thing. I mean, encouraging other people to prepare once you feel them out is a good thing. And kind of motivating, because the more prepared everybody else is, the less likely they are to come for you. Right. That's and I gotta say, people's moral compass seems to be slipping as a general rule in society. I don't know, at least in America lately, I feel like people seem down for whatever. And they feel like, I feel like the schools are part of a problem where they're teaching people that they deserve all these things. I mean, we see on the news things you hear people say, well, it's a right. I have a right to food. I have a right to healthy food. I have a right to, whatever, to internet. I have a right to a cell phone. I have a right to a car. And I'm like, how do you figure that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. It brings up a little pet peeve I have with the founding fathers.
In
the fact that in the Declaration of Independence, they wrote, people have inalienable rights. Among these are blah, 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 blah.
But you're not limited to those rights. There, you have more rights.
No, what I'm saying is inalienable means something that can't be given or taken away. Anybody can take your rights away. You know what I mean? Or a lot of people can, it's not something that you just have. No. There's a lot of people that don't give a shit about your rights at all.
Yeah.
You have to protect those. Every right that you think you have to defend it.
Right. No, that's it. You do have to take care of yourself and come up with a plan that you're responsible for your freedom. I hate to say it. We want to blame other people. Oh, they let me down. My government didn't protect me. No, it's your job. You need to be vigilant. They always say, what is it? It's they say, I think the quote is a democracy if you can keep it. Is that what I know they always say, well, we're not, republic, right? Because they always say we're not a democracy. And that's true. People get lost on that fact.
I think a lot of people don't really understand. Yeah. I mean, a representative republic is a type of a democracy.
Right. It's
not a pure democracy, right?
Right, exactly. That's the whole thing. It's limited by the Constitution. And sometimes I've heard it as a constitutional republic. And I've heard both, ways. But the idea is, we're definitely limited on the decisions that the mob can make is the way it's supposed to be. But obviously, as a country, we've accepted other things. Things do seem to fall apart. So bottom line, keep your mouth shut. Don't tell everybody everything you have. I would say squirrel away your stuff. You need to have caches. Even I hate to say it, your government might be a little shady. I know nobody would think that.
It's crazy, right?
Though. I'm just saying, if you bought that long-term food storage, and you got, a year's supply of food, you might be on a list. And I mean, a list that says, hey, go to his house and take his long-term food.
Right.
That's the list you might be on. And I'm just saying, it might be smart to cache half of that stuff and have it hidden in a safe, secure area where people can't find it. Or maybe even cache it into fifths and hide it in 5 different places. I don't know.
Even if it's 5 different places in your house.
Right.
So that you can say, well, this is all my stuff right here.
Right. You found it. You got me.
You got me.
And that's the thing. There should always be some kind of, well, here's what you could take. Because this is what I have left. The rest I gave to my friends and neighbors. You know what? Money was tight and I had to sell it. I sold it to another guy because that's how it is. That's like, these 10 AR-15s I have right here. That's all I have.
Yeah.
Yep. See that those
just the 10 of them.
Just the 10. So you could have those when secretly I may have cached more than 10. Right.
There could be more than 10.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, this brings us up to a second point though, and that's social media.
Ooh.
A lot of people will post their food. They like it, they go out to a nice restaurant, post their food. Maybe you post pictures of your kids.
Yeah.
That's a little bit weird, all right? Questionable. Maybe you post pictures of the stuff that you bought from the store. A little bit more questionable.
That is more
maybe you post pictures about pictures of inside your house or outside your house. Maybe you're posting pictures of your garden. Maybe don't post any pictures of anything.
Maybe your new tractor, your new 4-wheeler. Maybe it gets stolen next week.
Yeah.
And
along with that,
what I do,
destroy all your mail and your packages and all that sort of stuff. Don't just throw it in the garbage. You can shred papers, you can burn them, that sort of stuff. To me, if it has my name or address on it, that's it. It's destroyed. It doesn't go out in the trash can. Kevin, just basic.
Do you have a wood stove? You just,
Sometimes you need to get a little paper in there for kindling.
All right. A little kindling. All right. Every day another package arrives. No, but that's the thing. I actually scroll through social media, and when I see like pictures of people out with fine dining, I cut it and paste it and I repost it. And I'm like, yeah, I was out eating, living the life last night. And then I'm like, look at this great meal I had. Look at this strawberry salad or whatever it is. I don't know. No, I think that's
avocado toast.
My wife just posted something like that. It was funny. But anyway, I post those things so people think, oh, that's where his money went. He didn't buy 20 AR-15s.
It was all those strawberry salads.
It was all the strawberry salads, Right. Exactly. That's the kind of thing that's going on here. So that's the thing. Don't share all your business. Don't run your mouth like a crazy person. Like I said, there is a delicate balance, and you do have to find a way to encourage your neighbors to start prepping and your community. And honestly, people you care about. You want your family to start, prepping and take care of their stuff. They need to be able to handle their own business. I made sure, my kids who live far away have, hey, this is how you handle your business. This is where you go. This is what you do so you don't get stuck. You have to come up with a plan, and your plan shouldn't be to just steal from other people.
Right.
And sadly, that's kind of society right now. Kevin, I understand there's parasites everywhere. Are there parasites in Washington?
Yeah, so I wasn't going to bring this up.
I can't help myself.
High blood pressure.
I have to set you up sometimes. People always say, we haven't heard a good rant from Kevin lately.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep my temper under control. So there is a couple of things that I did. I was looking at this morning that kind of got me a little riled up before we even started the podcast. So apparently, all the Supreme Court justices have been taking bribes. Gorsuch, Roberts, Thomas. You know what the other Supreme Court justices that haven't been caught taking bribes said? We shouldn't investigate any of these. I don't think that
doesn't sound like something we should do.
It's not worthwhile. Yeah. You know who the Supreme Court answers to? According to them, nobody. So there's nothing you can do about it, even if we did take bribes. So it's not Congress's business. They can't interfere. So that's just, apparently you can just do it openly now, and it's fine. So Clarence Thomas was taking a bunch of trips, getting a bunch of free meals and free vacation stays and yacht rides and all sorts of fun stuff. That's fine. It's fine. He didn't report that, but that's okay. Roberts had a house that he was able to sell for millions of dollars right after he became a Supreme Court justice.
You got to move.
That house was bought by a business that was owned by a law firm that had 22 cases in front of the Supreme Court. That's a little suspicious, a little weird, right? It seems like a blatant bribe to me, but maybe it's just a coincidence.
It's coincidence.
But whatever. I guess that's none of my business.
There you go.
None of my business. Also not my business. The state police in West Virginia. I think it's 42 women and 20 minors have brought a case against the state police in West Virginia.
Oh, what's going on there?
Apparently, they had a bunch of cameras set up in locker rooms.
The state police.
Yeah, and they were sharing it around amongst themselves. They said that there wasn't even one state police officer that hadn't at least heard rumors about this. It's been going on for years.
Years.
It's probably fine. It'll be fine.
It'll take care of itself. This is kind of, I don't know. I just feel like so often people think that it's okay to just, hey, I deserve it. Or, you know what? I just want it.
I worked hard my whole life.
Else, right. Mm-hmm. And the hell with anybody else. Or maybe it's not that. Maybe they just have no moral compass and they're like, fuck you. I want it. So I should have it. Right. Like how things used to be when you were in kindergarten. If you didn't have a parent who cared about you and taught you discipline,
right.
Like that. Where you're
that sort of behavior.
Mine.
Some people never really grow up, though. Some people never grow out of that selfish, greedy shit. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting is what it is. Those people are the people that are behave in that manner. That is like 90% of our government. Let's be honest. It's not, it's not that your congressman is a good guy and everybody else is a shitbag. It's pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
It's pretty much everybody, and they don't give a shit about you. They give a shit about your vote, but they don't give a shit about you specifically. They don't even give a shit about you in general. They want to get reelected.
Yes.
But, that's about it. And once you become a Supreme Court justice, that's for life. You know what I mean? There's no, I would assume that by the time you get to be a Supreme Court justice, you had been so vetted to be such an honest and decent person and law-abiding citizen that you wouldn't even be able to get to the Supreme Court if you weren't. I don't know. Guess I'm wrong. Guess I don't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
Guess I don't understand how this government works at all.
That's the thing, right? So one, in order to get to the Supreme Court, you're a smart, intelligent guy. You've obviously had success in your career.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't that enough? Like, I mean, I assume you've been paid for this success in your career, right? I didn't assume it was all charity and whatever. I mean, a man should be paid what he's worth. I have no problem with that. A man deserves a fair wage.
Mm-hmm.
That's all good. But isn't it enough? Like, we always want more, but do you really need more?
Right.
Like, would I really be happy if I had a new Mustang?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I would. But
I mean, maybe you get to a certain point and you realize, oh, I can pay for my kids and my grandkids' college, and I'm highly respected.
Yeah, but what about the 6th generation?
That's enough. No, it's not enough. That's not 6th, 10th, 20th generation. I got to make sure that I have more stuff than other people do. That's really the trick, right? You got to have more stuff.
It's always, I mean, damn, if we don't, it's just about stuff. And you know what? That's the thing. Like, a lot of the people who are awesome, kind of decide, hey, I'm not leaving my kids a ton of shit because it doesn't help them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to leave generational wealth. I mean, yeah, how cool would it be to just have the family compound that goes on forever?
Mm-hmm.
But, how about
you kind of got to do your own thing? You got to teach your kid to do your own thing.
Right, to build their own empire, to be their own awesomeness. And that's the thing too. It doesn't even come down to money and stuff and whatever. Maybe that's not even what's important.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe working your ass off 60 hours a week is not really the best thing you could do. I understand you might have more money if you do that.
Right. Yeah.
But it might not be your best play.
Spend on your kids is time, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't know. I'm just saying, maybe you shouldn't be a leech on society. Maybe you should have a plan for yourself. Maybe we should keep our mouths shut about, all our supplies in our stores. What I would say, speaking of supplies and stores, you know what I got? Check this out. I got bunnies.
Ooh, you're finally in, huh?
There are bunnies in the world. So I'm going to be eating little bunny sandwiches, little bunny McNuggets, that kind of thing.
They make a good stew.
Something like that will be in. I don't even know if it's good stew. That's the wife was on me. She's like, have you even eaten Rapid? Do you even know what we're getting into? And I'm like, I don't know. Whatever. It's free meat.
Yeah, it's good.
They breed like rabbits.
They breed like rabbits. You just gotta, select them, chop them, figure out how much you can feed them. How long can you not feed them before you give them the chop before they start losing weight? I don't know. These are all questions to figure out. It's fun. Very exciting. I'm very excited for you.
They eat the stuff right off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Like grass. Yeah. I have like hundreds of these trees that are really annoying. They're called sweet gum trees. And they drop these big balls of whatever. Mm-hmm. And I say the bunnies are all about it.
Yeah.
And I just drop in a branch here and there, and they're just like going to town. Like, hey, you gave me the best thing ever. They're like, let's be buddies for life, and everything's good. So I'm just saying that might be something, you're into. I don't know.
All right. Sounds good. If you guys have funny suggestions,
put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments.
Maybe maybe you have the story of the guy who's the parasite prepper. Maybe you want to warn us about what you've heard.
Yeah.
I always wonder. I feel like I need to have things that are, tell us what's going on with you.
If you're not on our Facebook group, you can get on that, man. Because we'll have to get some bunny advice going in there. A bunny advice thread in there.
Bunny group.
Yeah. You can email us at preppingbadass@gmail.com if you want to get a hold of us. Tell us stories about your parasite friends.
Oh. And with that, I would say stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys next week.